Ladies, gentlemen, and wrestling fans alike, welcome to this week's episode of the Squash Match Wrestling Podcast. It is episode 6 this time. I made sure to get it right the first time. I'm Jake, that's Jet Li. We had a bunch go down in the WWE this week. We got Backlash coming up on Saturday. We had some releases and even some re-signings from over in AAA, which I find a little bit interesting. We'll get to that and more in just a few minutes, but before we do, Jet Li, how you doing?
Doing good, man. If any of our viewers are watching this, seeing that I'm in a different setup, I'm actually back in Scranton for the week, so
Yeah, we were
that's
uh,
that.
we were uh, trying to get together the live show or in-person show rather, but I had some complications. I had like two options, all right. My one option was sorry. My one option was either go out in like the living room that's over there. Um but the problem was I'd have to move my whole PC setup out there in order to record, and I don't have my Ethernet cable out there. It like runs through my wall. Or
hmm
the other option was to move my bed out out into the living room, and along with everything that's underneath it, and that would have just been a mess. And I don't think my mother would have liked that all too much. So that's all right. We're still cooking here. We're bringing those weekly shows no matter where we are here. Let's get right into our first topic here for the day. Let's go right into those budget cuts that we had this week. A bunch of superstars got released. We had one interesting signing. We'll get to who was released first. Who to you was the biggest superstar that was cut from the roster this week?
Um, if we're talking biggest in size, it's probably Braun Strowman,
Yeah.
but it's who got cut. Like I don't even like exactly remember. I
um,
remember like seeing him, but I just don't like have the names off the top of my
yeah,
head.
there were some NXT people that I wasn't too sure about. Caden Carter and Katana Chance got cut. Dakota Kai got cut. Braun Strowman got cut. And I even saw a report that The Rock has been cut from like WWE TV going forward. I don't know how true that is, but that was rumored out there too.
Yeah, who knows where The Rock is gonna be, but I will say after seeing these budget cuts, I will say there is one division that uh pretty much got destroyed because of it.
That being,
The women's tag team division.
yeah, I feel like this was the absolute just like death of the women's tag team division. Obviously, we have Kaden Carter and Katana Chance gone. They were the only real like women's tag team that was there. Liv Morgan, now we heard on Raw last week, I believe, is going to film like a big Hollywood movie. So I'd imagine they're going to drop those titles sometime soon. I think what we've been predicting the last couple of weeks is unfolding before our eyes here. I think that the women's tag titles are going back down to NXT, where they will stay probably for the foreseeable future.
It just sucks because there was like so much that went into like trying to get the women's tag team titles, just like the concept of it just to be a real thing. But like after like seeing how much it's like unfolded, it's like this was not like a good decision at all. And especially like seeing some of the budget cuts now and like who got cut. There were some solid pieces that got cut that would have made like the women's tag team division great.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. It's weird. It's like I feel like WWE just sees like, hey, we tried this. It wasn't going well. No matter what we tried, they will get more use down in NXT. Like when was the last time we even saw Kaden Carter and Katana Chance on TV? Like I have no idea. I think it was before WrestleMania, the tag
Right.
gauntlet that was there. But like I feel
Yeah.
like there's just not as much of a want to have a women's tag division right now than there was in the past when they were really pushing for these titles. Like now we have the women's United States title, we have the women's Intercontinental title, we have two main titles on both brands now. So it's like there's so much more to focus on. Like WWE right now doesn't even have good tag division. I mean, okay, hold on. I mean, if you look at Monday Night Raw, This isn't like a we don't need a women's tag division thing. This is like a we're struggling to book our men in a certain tag division. SmackDown, that's a whole other thing. I think they're just putting all their focus into that. Tag team wrestling is alive and well in the WWE. It just happens to be on Friday nights as opposed to Mondays. Um, but in a women's division that is already, I don't want to call it weak, but lacking in mid card talent, I'd say. Like on Monday Night Raw, we have Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria going for the IC title. But after that, like, who is there? Like, not too much off the top of my head that I could think of. SmackDown is having a similar problem with the United States title, fucking Michin. But yeah, I feel like the tag titles already are kind of like a mid card thing, and without a sustainable singles mid card, you just can't have a tag team division at all over there. And I feel like people just don't want it as much as they used to. So I think they'll be fine down in NXT.
Yeah, and I think I brought this up to someone like a while ago, but WWE, like in terms of like the titles, it's kind of gotten to the point where it's almost like AEW, where it's like they have like too many titles for them to really showcase, unfortunately. And that really just means like a lot of the talent having to let go because they just can't get them on TV.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that because like if you think about it, you've got both mid card titles now. You've got both main titles across two different shows, and you've only got. I saw a report that SmackDown is going back to 2 hours in either June or July, something like that. So now you have even less time to showcase your men's tag divisions, your women's tag division, which doesn't exist, I guess, anymore, or it won't shortly. So yeah, they don't have enough time to showcase all these titles. So and I understand that budget cuts are just like a part of business to an extent. Like it's not like Caden Carter and Katana Chance suck ass. We have to get rid of them now. Like I do feel bad for Dakota Kai, but at the same time, when was the last time we saw Dakota Kai on TV? You know?
Yeah, but it's like n now EO's nothing without damage control.
Yeah,
Like EO's literally on her own now.
yeah. I think she's doing fine on her own. People love Io Sky now, especially after WrestleMania. She got that big win. She's having great matches now on free TV. Not for the title, but still great matches like Roxanne Perez last night. That was a really good match. I actually got fooled by that match because when Roxanne Perez was like going to shake her hand, I was like, this is very out of character, but okay, let's see where it goes. I was expecting like some kind of interference, and lo and behold, there it was after she shook her hand. It went out of the ring. So,
Yeah, I will say with these budget cuts that came in, it was kind of a curveball because there was like no reports of like any sort of budget cut like
yeah,
leading into it. Because I remember like I was opening Twitter, I'm like the first announcement I saw was Braun Strowman getting cut. I'm like, wait, what? And then the names started rolling.
yeah. And it was like right before SmackDown, too. It was like literally half an hour before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for Braun Strowman, too. But I feel like he's at a point where he's just ready to retire. Like I feel like they got out of him everything that they could, especially like this year and last year. Like we had the last Monster Standing with Bronson Reed. That was big for him. He won a solid feud there. Um, his recent feud with Jacob Fatu, they were putting on great matches. But now I don't know. I don't know what else is really left for him to do. He's like got to be 45 years old or older. He's got like a paralyzed left leg or something, partially paralyzed in his left leg. So I think he's just. I'm not too upset for him just because. Did you see the video that he posted on either Instagram or Twitter? It was like his retirement kind of video thing. He was like, "Hey guys, I'm doing fine." He was like on a
Yeah, I
yacht
did
or
see that.
something. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. Do you think Braun Strowman is a future Hall of Famer?
Nah.
No.
I like he's had a good career, but I feel like it's not like Hall of Fame status.
I think I like Braun Strowman more than I like the Big Show, as just like a big guy that would appear in the Royal Rumble. It takes 50 people to get him out. He won the greatest Royal Rumble ever in Saudi Arabia, and then nobody nobody ever cared about that again. That's how I felt about the
The
Crown Jewel titles when they brought those. I felt like that was going to be a one-time thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like the only way that I would see Braun Strowman in the Hall of Fame is if they induct the Wyatt family
Yeah,
as a
like all
group.
together.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's like a way down the line kind of Hall of Famer. Like he's not first ballot, but someday I think he'll find his way in there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone can get into the WWE Hall of Fame at this rate.
Snoop Dogg.
Like,
Snoop Dogg is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
that's what I'm saying. We have like these one-offs like that are in. It's like okay, anyone could get in.
Yeah, yeah, I could totally see that. There's so many just like random. Like I think like Pete Rose is in the WWE Hall of Fame or something like something random. I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't take too much from an outsider's perspective there. But anything else on these recent budget cuts? Because I have one that I want to get into. It's a recent re-signing that I think could be a little controversial.
I'm good, and I believe I know who you're gonna mention.
Yes. So since WWE has acquired AAA, there were a number of superstars from AAA that have signed WWE contracts. I don't know too much about AAA. I don't know too much about them off the top of my head. However, I do know about Alberto Del Rio. How do you feel about Alberto Del Rio potentially making his WWE return?
I don't know if this is like offensive to say, but Alberto Del Rio is like my equivalent of like the Mexican version of Hulk Hogan, I feel like.
Yeah, I could kind of see it. I feel like it's like just the look of him.
Yeah, but it's like I hope you didn't hear that in the background,
I didn't
but
hear anything.
pretty good. That's my smoke alarm.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Just go ahead.
Nah, but I was genuinely surprised WWE resigned him because there were a lot of reports that he was gonna get let go.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. Like, didn't he assault somebody in AAA or something? Like, Alberto Del Rio has had a lot of controversy around him. Um, I think both during his time in WWE and in the Indies and stuff like that. So I don't see potentially why they re-signed him. Do you think he'll be like a? Do you think that these big WWE like these new signings from AAA? I'm trying to say, um, are they gonna appear on WWE TV or is this just like a? I don't want to call it like a legacy contract kind of thing, but like they could make appearances at shows, stuff like that. Or do you think we're actually going to see Alberto Del Rio in ring on Raw or SmackDown sometime soon?
I feel like this is more for like an NXT acquisition. I feel like, especially since like, yeah, you have like Alberto Del Rio, but like you have your other like AAA guys that they signed, and they don't know like the WWE way. So I feel like them acquiring AAA was like a developmental thing. So like they could send people to NXT to get like used to how the operation works.
Yeah, kind of like what they're doing with TNA right now. Like they could kind of go back and forth between shows, kind of thing. Just get some more exposure for AAA. Because I imagine if you acquire a company like that, you want to showcase your superstars to a bigger audience, and NXT would be a good way to do that. I don't think they're going to be on the main roster anytime soon. Really, sorry, my dog is going fucking berserk up there for some reason. Oh my god, what? Oh, somebody just like came to my door or something. I could see like my front door right out the window here. Anyway, though, that just blew my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, yeah. WWE AAA. Yeah, I don't think these people are going to be like official main roster people um, as of yet. Maybe Alberto Del Rio comes back just because people know who he is, stuff like that. But for somebody like me who doesn't really watch AAA, like I don't watch too much outside of WWE other than just like what I see on Twitter. If it's a good match and somebody's like, "Hey, go check this out," like I will. But I don't know like the storylines of AAA or anything. But for somebody who would be interested in something like that, this would be good exposure for a smaller company trying to. I don't want to say start up because obviously WWE wouldn't have bought them if they were just a startup company. But yeah, just to get them exposure.
I feel like they could also like do like their own thing where it's like AAA has like their own shows, almost how like they acquired Evolve, how like Evolve is on like I think they're like on Tubi or something.
Yeah, like
But I
literally
could see
Tubi.
them make yeah, I could see them doing like those spin-offs where they have like a exclusive AAA show, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, that could be cool. Um, Yeah, like it could just be something like more TV deals and stuff for AAA. Like I don't know what channels to watch AAA on. That's my problem with a lot of like smaller, like even like New Japan. I don't even know what channel it's on. I've watched it. Like I've watched one full New Japan show when I was in Atlantic City. It was like 3 in the morning. Me and my friend just came up from gambling, and I was like, "Dude, this shit's gonna be fucking insane." We were like drunk off our asses, and I was like, "Dude, let's throw this on," and it was great. But I don't know what channel it was on. It was on just like some random New Jersey local channel.
That's surprising because a lot of the times, so New Japan, I'm a big follower of that. They have like their own like streaming website that you pay like a subscription
Oh,
for
okay.
to get access to the shows. But it's a commitment if you want to get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning to
Yeah,
catch them.
because obviously time zones and shit. I don't even know if it was.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it was specifically New Japan. It was a Japanese wrestling show. I know that, and it was insane. And the whole thing was like subtitled in Japanese. I didn't know who anybody was, but it was great. It was really cool. It was really fun to watch. Um, Anything else on these budget releases, budget re-signings, stuff like that before we get into the meat and potatoes here of today's show?
I'm all good.
All right. Let's get into Backlash. Backlash is coming up this Saturday. Lots of people are saying this Backlash card isn't spectacular, and I kind of agree. This does feel like one of those filler PLEs to me a little bit. You know, we don't have anybody other than John Cena and Randy Orton. There's no like to me real big star power on the show. You know, we don't have a Roman Reigns, we don't have CM Punk, we don't have Seth Rollins, we don't have like any of like the gigantic storylines going on other than of course John Cena and Randy Orton. That's big in of itself. So credit where is due. Um, but one of the matches that got announced last night that I think felt a little bit random. Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship again. How are you feeling about this match?
I feel like this might set up a Finn exit, I feel like, if they're trying to go that route. Because we have seen Penta like go at it with Judgment Day for like a couple weeks now. And I feel like this is like the time because I was reading reports before the podcast and I was like there's like some time between either now and like probably a month or two where Finn is supposed to leave. And I feel like this might be the earliest it could get.
Yeah, I hope he leaves soon, dude. Like he's not doing anything. He's having those. He's like very passive aggressive right now in the Judgment Day. Like last night, Dom was like, "Why don't you go take care of AJ Styles for me?" And he's like, "What? You think I'm just gonna do that for you? Of course, I got your back, man." It's like, come on, just get him out of here already. Obviously, I predicted back at WrestleMania we were gonna get this turn, and we got a little bit more tease than we have with Dom like kind of turning on him mid match, but I hope it happens sometime soon. I could see some Chad Gable interference in this match because last night on Raw, Chad kind of did ruin it for Penta. I think that the Rey Mysterio injury from WrestleMania is a little bit more serious than we're being told it is. Like he hasn't even appeared on TV since then. So I think they're trying to curveball this into Penta being the one to take down El Grande Americano. I think that's why we're starting to get Chad Gable here. Like we could probably see some. I don't want to see a repeat match of what happened on Monday Night Raw. We even said it the last couple of weeks when Penta would go one on one with Dominic Mysterio. The match felt a little bit short. It didn't feel complete. So I think this is going to be our full on Penta versus Dominic Mysterio match. However, I think El Grande Americano / Chad Gable, whichever one it might be, they're definitely not the same person, is going to have something to do with this match, setting up that Penta storyline.
Yeah, I was gonna say this match is gonna call for a shenanigan one way or the other, whether it's a Judgment Day interference or someone interfering against Penta.
Yeah, every Judgment Day match does. We can't find way. They're like the Bloodline. It's just like every match, every single one, other than Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. That was the first Bloodline match where there was no Judgment Day shenanigans, but or Judgment Day Bloodline shenanigans. But I don't think we're gonna see a Dom win without something go down either. I think Dom is definitely retaining here too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's too early. People want to see him as champion. He went from like the most booed person in the WWE, like can't even get a word out on the mic, to now he gets bigger pops than Cody Rhodes. Like it's insane how that just flips like that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, Dominic has been one of the hardest working guys on that roster, so he deserves everything that's going for him.
Yeah. Like I feel like fans today aren't the same as they were too many years ago. Like where it's just like you just boo the bad guy because he's the bad guy. And I'm talking like years and years and years ago. Like today, it's like, okay, we see that Dom is such a hard worker. He's at every house show. He loses matches all the time. He's won his first title. Um, but nowadays, it's like people love heels. Like people, like the heels today are getting really big uh, pops. Like, what was it, 2 weeks ago on SmackDown? Like I felt like Nia Jax and Naomi were getting bigger pops than Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill were during that one segment. Like, people just love the bad guys now, me included.
Yeah, and I think it really just stems from the fact that it's like, especially with faces of the company, I feel like they always have like the same structure. Whereas like, if you're a heel, I feel like there's multiple routes you could take. Like you could be a heel that just straight up sucks, or you could be like a logical heel. Like you actually have like a reasoning for what you're doing.
Yeah, like
Almost like Drew McIntyre.
yeah, like Drew McIntyre. I was thinking like Gunther for that guy who just sucks. Like everybody hates Gunther. Which we'll get into that match next if you want to. But I feel like Triple H does such a great job of writing these like justified heels. Like if you look at guys today, like obviously now Seth Rollins, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, I think is the best example of that. Like they all have a reason to be a bad guy, and people just really like that. Like who's the best Triple H baby face right now that wasn't like a baby face before he kind of took over? Like I feel like Cody Rhodes coming back has just always been a baby face, and that way you just kind of keep that, like keep riding the wave that Cody Rhodes is on. But like if you look at a guy like Damian Priest or something who's like a Triple H good guy, it's like where is he at now compared to a Triple H bad guy, you know?
Yeah, I think it just stems from the fact that like Triple H has always been like infamously been a heel. So like it's probably easier for him to like be more creative with the heels than the faces.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are just loving the heels right now. Absolutely loving them.
And then you get your like one-offs in Jey Uso.
Yeah. Yeah. Jey Uso's I guess he's a good example of a Triple H babyface. And a lot of people complain online about Jey Uso not having much to him other than his yeet gimmick, which is partially true, I'd say. Um, but I wouldn't say Jey Uso is as good of a character as any of those heels that I mentioned. Like I think I like Gunther more than I like Jey Uso. I like Drew McIntyre more than I like Jey. I still like Jey Uso, but I don't know. I'm just more of a heel guy, I guess. Randy Orton too.
Agreed.
Randy Orton is a Triple H good guy now, I guess in a way.
Yeah, I still can't believe we live in an era where we're it's 2025, we got John Cena and Orton, but Cena's the heel and Orton's the face.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like they even like called attention to it last week on SmackDown, like some like bizarro world. But we'll get into that one later. I don't know the order that these matches take places. However, I know that that one is last. So we'll get to that one last. Anything else on Dirty Dominic versus Penta before we get to our next match here?
I'm good.
All right. Let's go. Let's go Gunther versus Pat McAfee next, because we were kind of already talking about it. So let's get right into it. What did you think first of the promo that we had on Monday Night Raw last night between these two?
Honestly, a very good promo battle that I was not expecting.
Yeah, I thought that this was one of the best promos of the year. We had two of the best promos of the year between Paul Heyman and then Pat McAfee and Gunther. It was really good. Like I really liked it. I liked how Pat was kind of like, we're in this great city of Omaha. He kind of hyped up the city. He hyped up Michael Cole. And he was like, yeah, I'm just going to stand up for my friends. I don't like what you stand for here. I fought my ass off to be here in the WWE for my whole life, and you just treat it like a job. And then Gunther was like, no, I'm going to kill you, man. I'm going to destroy you. Just like old school. This is the Gunther that I want to see, you know? I really liked it.
I agree. I feel like McAfee even pointed it out too. It's like for the last like couple years now, it feels like Gunther's gone soft. But I feel like who would have thought it took an ex NFL player to call Gunther soft and get that type of promo out of him.
Yeah, for real. It was really good. I really liked it. In terms of the match, Gunther has to win. I want him to do everything he said he was going to do to Pat McAfee. Like I don't want Pat to have a chance in this match. Like I think Gunther's kind of got to be like, okay, I am the professional wrestler here. You are a commentator slash punter. I'm gonna destroy you. And I'm still gonna go with kind of what you said last week about Goldberg. I don't think Goldberg is going to step in and ruin the match for Gunther. I think we're gonna get him afterward. But I want this to be a squash match.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Gunther really should win this. And to Goldberg, I feel like we could see like a Goldberg thing where it's like he's just in the audience, just
Yeah,
watching, and then like after the match, Gunther could like potentially call him out or something. Who knows?
yeah. In terms of if Goldberg is there or not, obviously I feel like this is Gunther's next big feud if this does happen. When do you think that that match would take place? I'm thinking like a SummerSlam.
Yeah, I was reading reports that this is like a SummerSlam thing because I feel like I think I was reading reports that it should be Goldberg's last match if it were to be against Gunther.
Yeah, and Gunther has to win that one too. I think
He better.
he better. um, I'm trying to think. We kind of got through that one a little quickly. Is there anything else here on Gunther versus Pat McAfee before we move on to anything else we have on Backlash?
I'm good.
All right. Yeah, this was just gonna be short and sweet. Gunther's gonna come out. He's gonna beat up Pat McAfee. We get a tease for his next feud. I don't see anything. This is like a one-off story for Gunther almost. Um, let's go into one that I don't think is a one-off story. Let's go Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. They had a promo battle last night on Monday Night Raw, which I also thought was really good and really funny. Lots of good promos last night on Raw, but who you got for this match? Intercontinental Championship on the line.
I have Becky winning,
I'm gonna go.
and it
Oh
goes,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
and it just goes to like long-term storytelling because I feel like so we already saw it on SmackDown with the U.S. Women's title changing hands. I feel like this is also a great time to change hands with the Intercontinental Championship, and especially like if Becky were to win it, I feel like she could elevate it to the point where like so I feel like this is gonna be like a long-term feud that will end at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like she could elevate the title even more so that when I do have fancy booking right here,
Here we go.
when Lyra defeats Becky at SummerSlam, it's just gonna elevate the title to even a bigger and higher status.
Yeah, I was gonna go a similar route. I think Becky has it here tonight, but I think this isn't the end of this feud. We're gonna get a couple more matches for this one, at least one more. I think SummerSlam would be a good place for it. Um, However, I don't think it's gonna be just Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. I think somehow Bayley is going to get involved in this between now and SummerSlam, and I think we're going to get a triple threat match: Bayley versus Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for that Intercontinental Championship. And if we want to go even crazier into the fantasy booking thing, um, I saw this online, so this isn't an original thought. However, I thought I would bring it up. Uh, Imagine over on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair somehow winds up with the Women's United States title, which I think would be very easy for her to do if she really wanted to do it. Um, and then somebody like either Becky Lynch or Bayley winds up the Intercontinental Championship heading or the Intercontinental Champion heading into WrestleMania. What if at WrestleMania we get a triple threat match between Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch to see who becomes the first women's Grand Slam champion?
That'd be sick, and I feel like it's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of them combining the titles, But they just the only reason that I think that this is possible is because down on NXT we just had Stephanie Vaquer win the North American title and the NXT Women's title, and she defended them separately. So I think if they go that route with it, like I don't want to see them combine the two titles into one mid card title, which might also be good actually because both mid cards are struggling at the moment. But I think, well, I mean, I feel like if either Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, or Bayley has one of them and then gets taken off, that immediately elevates it anyway. But I think if they go that route where the two titles aren't combined, they have to defend them separately, that could be a good way to go for it. That would be cool, though, for the first women's Grand Slam champ.
Yeah, I definitely like wouldn't mind it, but I feel like since the titles are like so new, I feel like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that would be fun. Maybe a next year thing. Or 2 years from now. I don't know. I don't know. I just think that'd be cool. Especially between those three like legends, Years in the making.
I feel like you could just easily have a triple threat just without the titles with those three, I feel like.
Yeah, I just thought the titles would give it a little extra juice.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. All right. Anything else on Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch? Actually, wait. One thing. I thought it was hilarious that Becky Lynch called Lyra Valkyria recycling. She's like she's a little bit. She's like she's a little bit better than garbage, but she's still garbage.
So like I don't know if you've like seen like some like the interviews that Becky Lynch has been doing as a heel. She is trying so hard to stay in character and it's actually hilarious.
Yeah, you could tell she looks. She sounds like funny at times almost. Like she doesn't sound like a bad guy. I don't know. Even when she like after Lyra was walking down the ramp again, she came back in the ring and picked up the mic. It just felt a little. It felt a little off. Oh, what the heck? All right, technical difficulties again. We're back, people. We're talking Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch here. Becky Lynch is a weird sounding heel. It doesn't feel exactly right. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. I think she's. I don't want to say she's not cut out to be a heel because we've seen heel Becky Lynch before, and I think she is doing a good job. But I feel like in a way she's trying to be that justified heel, like a Kevin Owens, like a Drew McIntyre, but it just doesn't seem right in a way with Becky.
Yeah, I agree, but it's also I feel like it's probably just because of the fact that she hasn't been on TV in so long. So I feel like she's just trying to get back to like getting like cutting promos again. Because when was the last time we saw her?
Yeah, Lyra even brought that up. She was like, "I've defended this title more times this year than you decided to show up to work." I think Lyra Valkyria has had some great promos throughout this mini feud so far. I don't want to say mini feud. We just said it was going to go on for a while, but you know what I mean. It makes me wonder though, why hasn't she been allowed to do this earlier in like another feud? Because like, yeah, she's putting on great matches. She has defended that title a whole bunch since winning it. I even called her the greatest women's champion in the WWE right now. But why wasn't she allowed to be? Like, I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I feel like WWE has that thing where it's like they'd rather have some people be on the mic, especially as a then they'll see what happens. But other than that, I feel like this is just
Oh,
against Becky.
sorry, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there again. I don't want to cut another part of this episode because it was very short. But
Yeah.
I think we're good. I think we're good now. It's raining again here. This is like the second week in a row. It's literally thunderstorming for an episode. I took a nap before because it was thunderstorming, and like I'll put on like rain sounds when I sleep sometimes. I was like, wow, this is nice. But I don't know. Second week in a row with the friggin' thunderstorms already. Anyway though, anything more on Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria's feud here before we move on to what's next?
I'm good.
Okay. That segment was plagued by technical errors, and I'm sorry if I'm rushing to get it over with. But all right. Next up, we have the United States title fatal four-way match: Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre for this. Now, what we're saying is going to be the main title over on SmackDown while John Cena is busy. Who do you think's coming out United States champion?
I got Jacob retaining.
I also have Jacob retaining. Uh, yeah, I don't see there's any reason, or I don't see any reason to take this title off of him just yet. You know, he just won it. We were saying last week. I think he's going to go on like a Gunther like run. He's going to hold this thing for a while. I do think though that this match is going to steal the show. I think this is going to be the match of the night, like no doubt about it.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you got the right people for a Fatal 4-Way in this match. It's definitely going to steal the show, but I just don't love the fact that Jacob's first title defense is a Fatal 4-Way.
Why not?
I feel like, and I know this is more fantasy booking, long-term storytelling, but I feel like he would have been better off trying to, like, have, like, a 1-versus-1 feud, because I feel like, yeah, Jacob's been, like, dominating the SmackDown mid-card, even before he was the US champion, but it goes to a point where it's like, his first feud is against three people that, so the one realistically makes sense on LA Knight just because he beat him for the title. But then you just have the guys that were thrown in from a previous feud in Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I feel like I'm okay with this fatal four way. Just because I feel like this is gonna set up his first one-on-one feud, which I think is going to be Solo Sikoa, and I think the U.S. title is still going to be involved in that. But I feel like if they were to just go right into Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre, I don't think they want Drew McIntyre to eat losses after a big win at WrestleMania like that, especially after people were like saying, hey, Drew deserves better than this match at Mania, which turned out to be fine. It was one of my favorite stories going into Mania. But I feel like this is a way to not bury either Drew or Jacob Fatu in terms of who I think is eating the pin. I hope it's Damian Priest because I don't want to see LA Knight lose either. That's just a personal thing. I just like LA Knight more than I like Damian Priest. But this is also a good way to have Solo be involved because we had that part teased on SmackDown where Nick Aldis was like talking with Solo. Solo was like, "You're trying to screw Jacob," and he's like, "No, Solo, you are." So I think this is a good way to have Solo involved. Obviously, there's going to be no DQs in this one, so Solo will be there somehow. Maybe something happens between the two where Solo and Jacob have a little bit of a falling out. Like a Jacob's like, "Hey, you think I can't do this on my own?" And Solo's like, "Yeah, no, I'm just here to help, man." And then they kind of go at it, and then that'll set up their first feud for maybe SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, whatever happens to be next. I'm not sure. What's Money in the Bank? July? I think
No,
so.
I think it's earlier
Is it? Because we also
because
have.
we have Backlash, Saturday Night Main Event, and
Oh,
then
that's
Money in the
right.
Bank.
That's right. I forgot about Saturday night's main event, the most meaningless show of all time. Honestly, I wouldn't have a problem if something big happened at Saturday night's main event because Saturday night's main events, the last like two that they had, the only two I think, nothing big happened. It was just like a house show that's on TV. So if something
Yeah.
big like this were to happen on that, that would be kind of cool. When is Crown Jewel this year? Because I know it's in Australia, which I think is a little bit weird, but I'm not sure when it is.
I think it's either in October or November. I know it's really late this year.
Yeah. Um, because I thought the whole point of the Crown Jewel thing was like the Saudis have this big WWE experience thing in Saudi Arabia now. They keep the titles in Saudi Arabia at the WWE Expo thing. I thought that this was going to be like an every year thing for Saudi Arabia. Because now it just kind of feels pointless to me. It felt pointless to begin with. I don't give a shit about the Crown Jewel Championship. Um, It's gonna be what, like John Cena versus Jey Uso as of right now for the Crown Jewel Championship. Like who cares? I don't. I don't care at all about these fake titles that you don't even get to keep. Like you get a ring for it.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when they dropped the announcement that Crown Jewel was going to be in Australia, because I feel like Crown Jewel has always been so synonymous with like being a Saudi show, and like I feel like they could have done like one of those like what did what was it called? It was like Super like Showdown or something. I don't remember what it
Yeah,
was
like
when
this.
the last time they had it in Australia.
Yeah. Was that a PLE, or was that like, or was that just one of those house show tours? Because they did one of those in like India recently too, like the WWE Super Showdown or something. It was in India. They toured. It wasn't on TV.
No, the one they did in Australia, I remember because that was when Buddy Murphy won the cruiserweight title
Oh,
in
okay,
Australia.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, the last Australia show we got was what, Elimination Chamber last year
Yeah,
or whatever. I
it
genuinely
was a
don't
year. It
remember.
was a year or two ago. It was a forgettable chamber. I completely forgot that Drew McIntyre won that chamber to go on to fight Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Because going into this elimination chamber, they said, "Oh, if Drew wins, he'll be two in a row." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I had to like go back and look. I was like, "Oh, that's right." But yeah, that show wasn't great. I don't remember it being too memorable. Obviously, since I don't remember anything from it. I remember Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley had a match. I remember it not being, I don't know, too great, but good for Rhea Ripley, I guess. She main evented a show in her home country. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Completely different than this year's Chamber. Chamber this year felt super. It was like probably one of the greatest PLEs ever.
I'm surprised you said that after your Travis Scott outbreak a few weeks ago.
That's where we got the introduction to Travis Scott. Okay, let's say one of the most groundbreaking PLEs ever. Groundbreaking in terms of shaking things up.
Yeah.
Not great moments. Actually, back then, was I still pissed about Travis Scott? Yeah. But I thought, okay, maybe The Rock and Travis, not to go on another fucking Travis Scott tangent here. This is like the highlight of every goddamn episode is me getting pissed off about Travis Scott. But like there was still a chance that The Rock would have been at WrestleMania. And if The Rock was at WrestleMania, it would have all been fine, but he wasn't. And I'm going to put this pencil through this wall right now. I don't know. I don't want another headache. I'm almost out of water here. I don't have a beer with me today. I'm all confuzzled. If that's a fucking word. I don't want Travis Scott to ruin it again. We've already had some technical difficulties this episode. I'm stressed with my finals coming up. I don't need to think about Travis Scott right now.
Yeah, the
Anyway.
setup was there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Clip farming. Oh, all right. Anyway, where were we? U.S. title. U.S. title. Anything else on the U.S. title? We got a little sidetrack there.
No, besides the fact that I feel like this is probably gonna be match of the night, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is the one I'm looking forward to. If it wasn't John Cena versus Randy Orton, I feel like this could have been the main event. This will be the show stealer. I hope it doesn't open the show. I want it to be maybe right in the middle. I think that'd be a good place for it. Just get everybody hype. They could settle down a little bit with. Actually, there's a couple of like hype matches. Like I feel like Pat McAfee versus Gunther isn't going to be like the hypest match out there. Or I just completely got backwards what I was going to say. I don't feel like it's going to be the best match ever, but the hype levels will be there just because of that promo we had on Raw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this will be somewhere towards the end of the show, hopefully. Because it's definitely not going to steal from John Cena versus Randy Orton in St. Louis.
I mean, it could. I mean, John Cena's trying to ruin wrestling, so who knows what'll happen.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm ready to get right into it if you are.
Let's do it.
John Cena versus Randy Orton, WWE Undisputed Championship, St. Louis, Missouri. One final time, one of the greatest rivalries in professional wrestling history. Who you got here?
Got Sir Cena himself.
Yeah. If this was any later into the title reign, I might have felt differently, but it's too early. John Cena's not going to lose this title to Randy Orton. Unfortunately, for as big of a Randy Orton fan as I am and have always been, I got John Cena too. No way he drops it here.
Yeah, especially since it is his first title defense. I would love to see his first title defense actually be a win. But, yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned it. We kind of mentioned it last week. How this is a great place to have this match with Randy Orton here in St. Louis this early into the run, because people are cheering John Cena when they want them to obviously be booing John Cena, and there's no chance in hell in St. Louis against Randy Orton that John Cena gets any kind of cheers, especially against a babyface Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton might have hopefully the biggest pop of like all time.
Yeah, yeah. I wanna hear everybody screaming his song. I scream it in my house.
Who doesn't? Thank you,
Exactly.
France, for that.
Yeah, France really awakened something in the American crowds. Which, do you ever notice? Sometimes I miss the European crowds for the simple fact that American crowds, we're trying our best. Okay, Europe did a great thing for European or for American crowds in getting us to cheer more and sing songs and do these chants and stuff. But American crowds can't seem to get like on the same timing level with it. Like you'll hear like a CM Punk chant and all you hear is like CM Punk Punk CM Punk Punk. Like you ever notice that? Like it's like the timing is just not there, and it kind of watching it at home, it kind of like pisses me off because sometimes it'll be something like what was the one against John Cena where they were like they were either saying we are sorry or we aren't sorry, and I couldn't tell because
Yeah.
the timing was off. I still don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's because, and I think you mentioned it a while ago, where it's like that like soccer culture where like they can get creative with some of these chants in Europe and they know how to like time everything.
Yeah, and I wonder where all this like starts. Is it just like one guy who starts singing, and then everybody else is like looking around? They're like, "Okay, yeah, let me join in." Like,
I
or
mean,
is
that's
this
how
like
American crowds are.
that's definitely how American crowds are? Yeah. I don't know, just something different across the pond that I
Hmm.
appreciate. Do you think we'll get?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get the teased punt kick in this match?
Yeah, and then we're gonna hear Fiend drop. I'm joking, I'm joking.
First the pencil. I'm gonna put my head through the wall next. If
Could you
If
imagine
Travis
if
Scott
that actually
appears,
happens?
he's got to be gone. He's got to be done. He's got to be fucking done. There's there's no justifiable reason to have him here. Like at all. He's got to be gone. It's got to be all Cena from here on out. Especially with
Yeah.
we mentioned it a little bit at the very start of the show where they might be dropping The Rock completely here. If they drop The Rock and not Travis Scott, what is the reason for that? I have no idea. I never want to see him again.
Yeah, who knows? Do you think we will see some sort of shenanigan?
So I saw teased online. We all remember the John Cena versus Randy Orton, where Randy slaps the referee to get himself DQ'd and retain his title. I thought maybe John Cena could do something similar to that. Get maybe not exactly what Randy Orton did, but get himself disqualified. I think that would be such like a cheap way out of it. Like maybe Randy's about to beat him, similar to how it was years ago. Randy's about to beat him. John Cena kicks the ref in the nuts or something and gets himself DQ'd. I think that would fit John Cena's new character so much. But at the same time, I get that he's trying to ruin wrestling. That's such a sucky end to his show, you know? Especially, I don't want to say it'll be the end of the John Cena versus Randy Orton feud, like historically. Like maybe they'll get another match later this year, just because that's like John Cena's biggest rivalry ever. Um, I don't know. I'd hate to see it end that way, but at the same time, I think it fits John Cena's character really well.
I was just say it just makes sense. I honestly feel like um this won't be a clean finish at all. I like going back to what you said, I feel like Cena might win off a DQ because at the end of the day, like Orton won't eat a pin or submit to it. And I feel like if they wanted to, they could build the feud even longer. Because after Orton, I really don't know who Cena could go after.
Here's what I said this on my radio show the other day. We haven't seen CM Punk in a while. Money in the Bank is coming up. We know the history of John Cena and CM Punk at Money in the Bank. So I think we went over this like 10 minutes ago and I forgot already. When the hell is Money in the Bank? Is it late June or is it
I think
July?
it's early June.
Early June? Okay. Whenever Money in the Bank is coming up, I feel like that's when John Cena is going to get to CM Punk. I just think it makes sense that way. And that way that buys more time for like a Cody Rhodes to come back. I said this weeks ago too. I think Cody Rhodes is just he's going to be the one to save wrestling. He's going to take it back from John Cena later in the year. But yeah,
So, speaking of Money in the Bank, I actually saw a funny fan theory that I really hope happens because this would be absolutely hilarious. What if Cena himself is in the Money in the Bank match
dude, and he
and wins it?
and he recombines. He goes after like Jey Uso or something. He cashes in, recombines the two world titles. He makes himself an 18th time champion. That would be like because I saw another fan theory that AEW was gonna give Ric Flair the AEW championship to make him a 17-time world champion. So that would be like the ultimate like fuck you, fuck you to AEW once again if they did go down that route. That'd be funny though. Um, I don't see that happening, but that would be great.
See, I want to see that happen because that could literally ruin wrestling the way Cena wants
That
it to
that would that
happen.
would 100% ruin wrestling. Like here now nobody's gonna beat me.
Could could you imagine if we see like John Cena like the belt collector? Like, could you imagine like more fancy booking here for you people?
Yeah,
If he wins the Money in the Bank and cashes in on like not even Jey Uso, he cashes it in on a mid card. Well, if he cashes in on the Intercontinental title and
oh
finally
my
gets his
god,
Grand Slam,
that would make sense. That would make a little bit of sense because I thought that now this was like last year when they announced it. I thought he was gonna go after the IC title at some point in his retirement run too. Because how could you not have him be a Grand Slam champion? Like I don't know. Maybe John Cena's Intercontinental Championship run way later this year after everything's said and done. Maybe he's no longer WWE champion, and like I'm trying to think. Maybe like I want to find a way to fit Sheamus into this match. Like they're fighting for the Grand Slam championship. Like who will become that first? Because Sheamus is also after that IC title, and he has history with John
yeah, he
Cena.
is.
So
hmm I feel like Cena has history with everyone.
yeah, you could pick out Joe Schmo from the crowd and say John Cena has history with that guy.
So he has beef with the kid from
Yeah,
Belgium. So
yeah, he's got beef with children from Belgium. He's got beef with children, 6 year olds who flip him off in the crowd. John Cena's just a hater right now.
yeah, justified hater.
Justified hater. Justified hater. All right. Anything else on Randy Orton, John Cena, Backlash as a whole? Actually, there's not too many matches on this one, so
I was gonna say there. I really don't have much expectations for Backlash, just because like it is the first PLE after Mania, so a lot of it's just trying to like ignite stories.
Yeah, especially because there wasn't a lot of time between Backlash and WrestleMania. There was what, 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. Um, I don't expect it to be spectacular. It's just
I
like
was
it's almost like Saturday night's main event, but a little bit more important.
Well, that's what I mean, because I feel like a lot of these stories are gonna have to be rushed because we have Backlash this Saturday. Saturday night's main event, I think, is in 2 weeks. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, it's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and that makes me feel like once again, if they're gonna rush the stories for Saturday night's main event and try and make it feel important, it's gonna be bad. But if they don't do that, Saturday night's main event is once again just gonna feel like a house show. Like if we're gonna get Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, it's gonna be at Saturday night's main event, and nobody's gonna care. I'm
Yeah.
gonna lay that down right now. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, Saturday night's main event. Fuck it.
You're a winner and new champion Logan Paul.
Oh
No, I'm
my
joking.
god, I'd kill myself. I'd cry. That's so bad. Um,
Uh,
well, in terms of Backlash, we've gone through everything now. My last topic for the day is actually Jey Uso and the World Heavyweight Championship. That match we had last night was completely out of nowhere, completely unexpected. Um, I feel like they weren't just throwing us a curveball with Logan Paul, where it was like this is going to be Jay's next feud. Like I feel like we're definitely going to get that at Saturday night's main event now. But this match felt out of nowhere, but it felt cool. Like it was like, oh, Seth is already going after the big title. Like that's kind of crazy. How did you feel about the match at the end of the show?
I really liked this match. I feel like this was definitely a good way for Jay to get. I think this kind of proved like to Jay like he could hang with main event talent now.
Yeah,
Because I know like I'm still pissed about the whole Gunther match, but I think this really showed that like Jay can actually like hang as like a world heavyweight champion, especially a guy against like Seth Rollins.
yeah. I feel kind of the same way. I just wish that through all the interference that we had there wasn't too much interference from Braun Breaker. I mean, he like pulled Jay off the top ropes or something while the ref wasn't looking. Typical little heel shit. But we had Sami Zayn come out. They go at it outside the ring. I'm glad they didn't get too involved in the match. I just wish something happened where Jay pinned Seth Rollins. I think that really would have upset a ton of people online, but that really would have cemented Jey Uso as a threat, like a real world heavyweight champion, you know? I think Seth could have eaten a pin from the world champion. Like it's not like that's a bad loss. Like it's not like you're losing to Jey Uso, like the tag team champion from the bloodline from 3 years ago. You're getting pinned by Jey Uso, the world heavyweight champion. I feel like that would have done a lot for Jay, and it wouldn't have hurt Seth too much.
Yeah, I will say this isn't this match technically still going? I
Yeah, the
don't
bell
think
never rang. The bell never rang.
the ring.
I said that. I was sitting there with my girlfriend, and I was like, oh my god, like, because I was waiting for the Jey Uso pin because I didn't hear the bell. I thought it was gonna happen, but no. Yeah, you're
I was
right.
even gonna say
The
like
bell
when
never rang.
Punk even came out, the bell never rung at the end.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
mean.
like, it's
Because
like, so who's the winner?
yeah, like there was no announcement, there was nothing. CM Punk came out and like attacked Seth Rollins, and I was like, okay, he just dropped Seth. Did the ref not see it? Was the ref not? Because the ref was out of the ring. He was like tending to Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. So I was wondering. I was like, was this supposed to happen or not? Was Jay supposed to get a pin on Seth? I don't know. Bell never rang.
Who knows? They might be fighting in a parking lot right now.
They probably are, knowing those two.
Yeah, but I feel like I will say everything before the match, like the promos and stuff, all the backstage stuff, definitely helped to this match.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked the setup for it, especially Paul Heyman's crash out at the start of the show. This was like full on. My favorite part of it was when Paul was like, "I'm the bad guy. I'm the scumbag. You blame me for everything," and then Jay was like, "What's this got to do with me?" That was funny.
Nah, especially like at the end where like Jay asked him if he was all right.
Yeah, he was like, "Are you good? Like what?" He was like, "Paul, like I have nothing to do with this, dude. Like why are you venting to me?" I feel like this was Paul Heyman coming out and being like, "Okay, I do agree with Seth. Like this is officially, this is why I turned to Seth's side. Everything Seth said was right. Everything he said made sense. Now I'm here. At the end of the day, all I wanted to do is help out my friend at WrestleMania. But my friend didn't come out to help me when I was put through a table. Roman Reigns didn't come out to help me when I was put through a table. And now here I am." So I felt like it did a good job of making sense of Paul Heyman's, I don't want to say heel turn, but like triple heel turn, I guess. Um,
Justified heel turn.
justified heel turns. That's the theme of the day.
I will say, did you notice in the backstage segment where it's just Rollins, Braun, and Paul Heyman? Did you notice that there was like already tension kind of?
Um, a little bit. Like you mean like between like Braun, Seth, and Paul?
Just Braun and Seth,
Braun and
because I
Seth.
think Braun was like, "Oh, Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title." It's like everything's all about Seth. Why can't it be me yet? And I feel like they're already trying to push the tension, which I don't like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I was even saying that to my girlfriend. I was like, "There's no way they." Because we were saying the past couple of weeks, this is going to be around for a long, long time, and then they do something like this. But yeah, I did notice that, and I didn't like it too much either. But I think Seth should be champion before Braun is champion again.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
think it just
definitely.
makes more sense.
I will say though, at the very end of the show, when Punk, Sammy, and Jay were in the ring, I think we're hinting at a third member of that faction.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Like last week, I was kind of like I'd seen rumblings online. Does this feud or not feud? Does this faction even need a third member? I still kind of I think I said I felt like they still did. Um, but now, yeah, I definitely do because originally I thought they were gonna do like a tag team match, Seth and Braun versus Roman and Punk at Backlash. This was after WrestleMania. Obviously that didn't happen, but this is a good reason to add a third member.
Yeah, and now that I'm looking at like overall from last night, I don't think Austin Theory is going to be the third member
No, unfortunately.
because they're already trying to set up him being a babyface now.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed it. So that leaves us with potential Ilya Dragunov, potentially Ethan Page. I don't know. I
I've been seeing another name pop up,
Who would that be?
Carmelo Hayes.
Hmm, interesting.
I've been seeing his name pop up a lot.
I feel like he would play a similar role to Ethan Page. Like if they were gonna go that route, like that like charisma guy, that good in ring guy, that good on the mic guy. Um, I feel like he's just too involved with Miz right now. Like I don't think he has a reason to turn on Miz. Is my only thing.
Yeah, that's my thing too, because like as much as I would love to see Carmelo, I feel like Carmelo's next feud is probably going to be with Aleister Black, if I had to guess.
Yeah, yeah, because they did just set that up on SmackDown, which I think could be another great, like a 7 game series kind of thing if they want to go that way. Because he looked great, Alistair Black did.
Hmm. My thing is like, I really don't want those two to feud because like I feel like Aleister Black could already like be in a different feud where he could win, and like Carmelo Hayes is starting to get hot, and I really don't want that to die down.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why I was thinking another like 7 game series kind of thing. Because you could have like Alistair Black wins one, Mello wins one, Alistair Black wins another one, Mello wins another one, maybe Mello wins the next one, and then Alistair Black wins, and then they're like tied, and then maybe we'll get an actual game 7. Because I feel like
Yeah,
after that,
maybe.
like obviously the Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade thing when that happened originally, both of those guys walked out of that, and I was like, okay, these two are both kind of on the same level. I think since then, Carmelo Hayes has been doing a lot better for himself than Andrade has. But I feel like neither of them were damaged by it at all. It was just two awesome guys putting on great matches, getting themselves out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think kind of be in a similar boat here with these two. I just want to see more Carmelo Hayes every single week in matches too. So
Oh, I've always been big on Carmelo Hayes, especially when he was down in NXT.
yeah, yeah, he's real cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, a third member potentially, before we get ready to close out the show here?
Um, I will say this, and I feel like it's like so like little, but it is very cool for Seth Rollins. Do you notice like whenever like he comes out, the Trons are different and it's for his like color coordination for his gear?
Is it?
Yeah.
I actually haven't noticed. Hmm.
I like vaguely noticed it until someone, I forget who, but someone brought it up on Twitter, and there's just a bunch of like screenshots of Seth Rollins coming out to like whatever he's wearing, and his Trons being the same color as what he's wearing.
I haven't noticed that. I'm gonna pay attention to that this week, and I'm gonna bring it up next week to see if I noticed or not. But no, I did not see that.
Yeah, no, I think it's like those little things is what makes Seth Rollins so great.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's an all timer, definitely.
Definitely, definitely first ballot Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
Actually, this just crossed my mind while we're sitting here. Back to Money in the Bank. We have the potential to set up another heist of the century with Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
They could put Braun Breaker in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Like especially if whenever like say Seth goes after the title again against Jey Uso, whoever it might be, sometime in the future, and he ends up losing again, maybe, and we get a Braun Breaker cash in.
I could see that,
Yeah,
but
even just when
I feel
factions
like
like when factions
especially,
hold the briefcase.
yeah, but I feel like if you're in like Braun Strowman's like situation, I feel like you'd better have him off as like almost like a Batista face turn against Triple H rather than almost taking like the easy way out with the Money in the Bank cash in.
Yeah,
Because I feel like
that's
you could build so much with it.
yeah. Like I don't want to rush this factions fantasy bookings like I did last week. I listened to that while I was in the gym the other day.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell am I talking about? So I'm gonna not touch years down the line for this faction again. But I think that this faction should be around for a long time. And I just think that factions work really well with the Money in the Bank
Mm.
briefcase. So maybe they add this third member and either Braun or him holds it. I think if there's another member coming, Braun should be the one with the briefcase. But yeah, I don't know. I just like when factions have it, like Damian Priest when he had it in Judgment Day. go back to original Seth Rollins, Heist of the Century, in the Authority.
Here's this for more fancy booking. This is the fancy booking episode right here,
Here we
ladies
go.
and gentlemen. So let's say if Braun does win uh, the Money in the Bank, and whoever their third is, what if that third wins the Rumble?
Oh my god. And then, like, what if he and then he like cashes in immediately just to get himself into the match or something like that, or
Hmm.
that would be crazy. I saw rumblings online that Sami Zayn is going to win the Royal Rumble just because it's in Saudi Arabia, and this first, like, I don't want to call it a first feud with Sami Zayn. I mean, I guess that's kind of what it's turning into. But like, Sami Zayn will be the one to challenge Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for the world title, just because that's, I don't know, a little bit being hinted at. But I don't know.
Agreed,
I don't.
Sammy Hogan.
Yeah, another Sammy Hogan. I don't entirely subscribe to Sami Zayn winning the Royal Rumble just because it's in Saudi Arabia and they like him over there. But I don't know.
Yeah, I would. So I was reading reports where it's like Rollins' big feud this year should be Roman Reigns, but we haven't really gotten a glimpse of that since Braun was introduced into this group.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get another segment of time where Roman Reigns disappears and then reappears. Maybe SummerSlam again. That could be a potential destination for him because we're still yet to have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns 1-on-1 at WrestleMania. So like
Yeah,
maybe going into Mania, Seth could be world champion and Roman wins the Rumble. He'd be another 2-time Rumble winner. That's a dream match right
yeah.
there.
I will say I am so glad like ever since like Triple H has been in charge, there has been like so much like long-term like storytelling. Like we look back a few years ago, Cody Rhodes said this and it's literally happened now. Roman is officially a tribal chief without a tribe.
Yeah, he's lost everything. And he predicted, he said, first Solo will turn on you, then the Usos will go, and then your wise man will go after your title's all gone. And everything Cody said has happened.
Not only that, Cody said that Paul Heyman would go back to being an advocate, and that's literally what he is right
Yeah.
now.
I like that he's more with Braun than he is with Seth. Because I think I said this back before the WrestleMania match. Seth doesn't need Paul Heyman, so I was hoping Paul didn't just like stay with Seth. And I guess in a way he kind of did. Obviously we didn't see the Braun Breaker thing coming, but Braun comes out or Paul Heyman comes out with Braun. He doesn't necessarily come out with Seth. So I like that they're going that route, especially because it was teased what, a year or two ago that Braun Breaker would be the next Paul Heyman guy. So yeah, I like that. I like that he is back to, as Cody said, that advocate role.
Yeah, and honestly, Paul Heyman just looks naturally fit to like be side by side with Braun than he is with Seth.
Yeah, it looks like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That
And
same
I feel
like
like
body type and stuff.
Seth really has like never really had like a manager, so to speak, throughout his entire career. Like yeah, he's had like his factions where like his running buddies would be at like ringside, but like Seth Rollins was someone that never really needed a manager.
Yeah, he like was the mouthpiece. You know, even for
Hmm.
like back to like the Shield days and stuff. Like Seth was the guy talking. We know now he definitely doesn't need a mouthpiece. Um, but Braun Breaker, not that I think he's bad on the mic, but he would only benefit from having a Paul Heyman there.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially his Steiner math promo. That was great. That was so funny.
Gotta love Steiner math.
I'm so glad that they did that. I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but I watched that like probably like bi-weekly. Like I'll just like pull it up and just be like, I don't know. It's just funny. I pull it up at work.
Nothing's more motivational than Steiner.
Yeah. I got
Yeah, no, but
166 and 2/3% chances of winning.
To be fair, Braun delivered it better than Scott Steiner ever
Yeah,
did.
well, his was actually rehearsed. This was probably like planned out, and he knew what he was gonna say.
Yeah, Scott Steiner, what a guy.
What a
The
guy!
Steiner family alone,
They're so funny.
like absolute beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have anything else here that we would like to cover before we start to close out the show for the week?
Um. Oh yeah. So this guy has been recently popping up on our podcast a bit. Karrion Cross.
Yes, I can't go a week without talking about my guy Karrion Cross. Karrion Cross was not on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. There's no way I missed him, right? He was. I saw a like one of those commercial break segments with Karrion Cross in it.
Hmm.
Other than that, I don't think he was actually on the show, unless I somehow missed it.
Yeah, no, he only popped up during a lot like the commercial interview thing.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this already too, but I'll let you go.
Man, the way this guy delivers his promos, why can't he be on TV more?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, God, he is so good on the mic.
he's so good.
Why can't we get more of it?
It makes me want
It's
to
like
put this pencil to this wall again.
the thing is, it's like not even just Karrion Cross. Like names that we've mentioned before. Ludwig Kaiser giving interviews during the commercials. Like these guys need more TV time.
Yeah, and it sucks because we don't even get to like see that stuff. Like, sure, international audiences do, but I want to see Karrion Cross. You know.
Yeah, it's like so criminal.
It is. I was gonna say because I thought you were gonna go this route with it. Do you think he's going to go back to Killer Cross? Because this is like the
Oh yeah.
second or third week in a row he said, "I'm notoriously a killer," as he looked into the camera, and I'm like, "Yeah, all right, we're getting Killer Cross back." The way he just like looked into the camera, his Instagram names and stuff, like all of his social medias are still Killer Cross. Um, he's got to go back to it. I don't know. I think that would make him so much cooler too. Like that's just another reason to
Yeah.
be on TV. Like, come on, get this guy out here.
Yeah, like we need like Karrion Cross to go back to one, not only go back to Killer Cross, but two, like him being like an absolute like psychopath.
Yeah,
Like him actually like getting squash matches. But like this man deserves so much better, and it goes back to the pipe bomb that he dropped, where it's like a YouTube is getting more TV time than I am.
yeah. Even then, he name dropped Killer Cross again. But oh, what was I gonna say? I saw a thing from a house show that took place during the week or over the weekend or something where Karrion Cross had a match and got like an awesome pop, and then he lost to Dragon Lee. It was like
Yeah, I saw that.
so he's not even winning at house shows, and it's like that's so it sucks. It sucks. I want to see him win
It's
on TV.
criminal that it's even more criminal that he dropped it to Dragon Lee.
Yeah,
I love Dragon Lee. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a very talented superstar. But when you got a guy as like that's getting so much like attention like Karrion Cross for people to literally go to a house show to film Karrion Cross taking an L to Dragon Lee, that genuinely might piss people off.
yeah.
And it looks like it has.
It has. It definitely has. There's two of them sitting right here. How about this? Also just popped in my mind. Back to the fantasy booking episode. How would you feel about Karrion Cross being Mr. Money in the Bank this year?
I would love that.
Even if he were to go after the Intercontinental title. I'm not a fan of cashing in on mid-card titles, but if you're that hesitant to pull the trigger on Karrion Cross, at least pull it on a title like the IC title. Maybe the United States title. I don't know. Something else. But like he doesn't necessarily have to go right into the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Like people online are so quick to like see a backstage promo like that and be like, this has to be the next World Heavyweight Champion. And it's like, okay, maybe in like a year or two, like we know the long-term storytelling thing, like this shit takes time, you know, you can't just cut a pipe bomb and be the world champion the next day. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be the start of building up to be. And I think an IC title run for Karrion Kross would do a lot. Like you said, you want to see him be that like murder in the ring, the killer, the guy who does the squash matches. But I think in the ring he should be that killer, but still be that like, not that he's calm on the mic, but he's more like calculated, I guess. He's good with his words. He knows what he's talking about. A little unhinged at times, but I think that that's good for the backstage part of it. But then once he gets in the ring, he has to be like the eater of worlds, the destroyer. Like, not that I'm saying I want him to be Bray Wyatt, but that was a figure of speech.
Wyatt 6.
Yeah, Karrion Kross joins the Wyatt Six. It's confirmed.
Yeah, no, but there's so many guys on the main roster that I feel like we've both been like hyping up, and ever since we've been hyping them up, we've just never.
Yeah, we
seen
see them
one.
less and less and less. Like Ludwig Kaiser, we were saying he's gonna win the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial or whatever. I still can't pronounce that. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Ludwig Kaiser is gonna win King of the Ring this year. Maybe Money in the Bank. I don't know. And then we just haven't seen Ludwig Kaiser in like 3 weeks. Same with Karrion Kross here. We got a Sheamus return before we got Karrion Kross or Ludwig Kaiser back on TV, which I called that in the moment. Me and my girlfriend were watching, and it was like the Austin Theory segment where they were backstage. He was going back and forth with Grayson Waller. And Grayson Waller was like, well, I don't want to fight that guy. Austin, you could take my singles match. And he was like, who's it against? He's like, don't worry. I look at my girlfriend. I was like, it's going to be Sheamus. And then out came Sheamus. I was like, let's go. I called it. I'm good. That's why we have a podcast here.
I mean, to be fair, I did also foreshadow Sheamus last week.
Yeah.
In terms of him potentially being a Rusev opponent.
Yeah.
Which Rusev's debut went the way as I expected it to.
Yeah. That was actually low key. Like, for as short as it was, I really liked that match.
Yeah.
It made Otis feel like not easily destroyable. Because, like, he fought back a little bit. Or not easily destroyable. How do I say this? It made Otis not look like a pushover. You know, Otis made his own loss feel important for Rusev. So I don't know. I like this
definitely.
match. I liked it a lot. I was gonna go so far as to say this was my favorite match of the night for as short as it was, and then we got Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins, and I was like, okay, never mind. But yeah, no, I liked Rusev's return. I just want him to move on to bigger things now, and I'm glad he destroyed Tozawa in that segment too, because if we got Rusev versus Tozawa next week before it built up to anything else, then I might have been pissed. Like, we know Rusev's gonna beat Tozawa. Put him against Sheamus. Put him against, I don't know, anybody else. I was gonna say Karrion Kross, but I don't want to see Karrion Kross lose on TV.
Just saying, you never know, man. Tozawa's been a hard worker. He could pull off an upset.
Yeah, his match against Gunther was really good during the.
That's what I'm saying.
During the Gunther versus Jey Uso feud, that was really good too. I don't know. If I know he's gonna win already, which I do, I don't want to see him waste his time on something like that. I want to see him I want to find out what he means by, I'm gonna fix these people in the WWE or whatever his new gimmick is. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's
I think they're trying to bring back his Redeemer gimmick from AEW.
Yeah, like I didn't want to say purify, because I don't think that's what he said. I think he said fix or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a great Rusev return match. We also saw a great Aleister Black return match, which we slightly brought up earlier.
Yes, that match was fantastic. I love his MMA style. Like the striking.
Hmm.
I love striking finishers.
Yeah.
They're so good, and his is awesome.
Black Mass is just so clean.
Yeah, and it's such a cool name for it too.
Hmm.
Yeah, that match was really
It
good.
also just depends on who he hits it on. Because I've seen him hit it on like people and it just doesn't look great, but like he hit it on the Miz, and my God, shout out to the Miz. He's, in my opinion, first ballot Hall of Fame.
I was about to say that.
Like the Miz sold the hell out of it.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. Um, and like you said, this was a good first opponent to have him because the Miz could eat a loss. The Miz is like he's a Grand Slam champion. He's probably had more losses in his career than he has wins.
Two-time Grand Slam
Two
champion.
time Grand Slam champion. Was he a 2 time main eventer at WrestleMania or just one? I think it was just one.
Once, and that's when he got concussed.
Yeah,
At
but he
like
beat
the
John Cena.
worst WrestleMania ever.
But he beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania. So, still credible there.
Yeah, but that WrestleMania was so ass.
Yeah, that was more of like The Rock's return. Here we go with The Rock ruining the main events of WrestleMania. Don't even get me started again.
Hey, I'm just saying, The Rock showed up for that John Cena match, though.
Hey, yeah, he did. He did. He showed up to ruin it. He could have showed up to ruin this one though. Why did he send out Travis Scott to ruin it himself? Like, here I go again. Here I go again. I gotta stop
You
myself.
Like, I kid you not, I was rewatching WrestleMania 27 the other day. My God, it was horrible. I can't believe they put that show out.
Yeah.
And I was reading, I think this was a while ago before I'd even watched it, where someone described WrestleMania as like it started as WrestleMania, but as it progressed, it turned into a Monday Night Raw, which was very unfortunate because that's literally what it ended up happening.
Yeah. It was like a large scale Monday Night Raw. Like The
Yeah.
Rock returning, ruining a match. That
Hmm.
easily could have been saved for a Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like that's the big return. That's what we get on Raw after Mania. We get the big return. This year we got a couple of them, but yeah, fucking Rock, rooting WrestleMania since what was that 29
27.
2009 2007. I don't know. Way back then.
Let's see. Wait.
I was
Let's
like
see.
4.
WrestleMania 27 was. I'm only remember. I think it was 2011 because that's when. Yeah, it was 2011 because I remember WWE 12, which still one of my favorite games of all time. But that was the year when we brought his name up earlier in the episode. That was the year when Alberto Del Rio won the only 40-man Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Was that the one where Santino was the last one in with him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Santino.
Also, want to hear what was something wild about this? So I was watching a YouTube video. Do you know who Dante Turo is?
I think I know of him. I don't watch him frequently though.
He was one of the podcasts on Stash Club Wrestling.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure.
I was watching his review on WrestleMania 27, and from when Alberto Del Rio debuted to that WrestleMania match against Edge at WrestleMania 27, guess how long that was?
How long?
It was like a 5-month span.
Really? Shit.
Yeah,
My God.
like that's how quick Del Rio was pushed.
Yeah. That's what I mean with the return of Del Rio. It's like, do we
Yeah,
want to go
absolutely
through this
insane.
again? Because it's like people don't forget about all that.
No, once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, like it's there. That's why it was so controversial when the news came out that he was re-signed. Like it was like, are we gonna get another Super Del Rio that nobody wants to see? Although I will admit, What was his manager's name?
Carter Rodriguez.
Yeah, yeah, he's awesome. When he came out in like the car with the music with the
Hmm.
that guy.
I mean, to be fair, he also had Zeb Coulter. I didn't know if you were going that
Yeah,
route either.
yeah. Oh my god, I remember him. Was he was just like racist,
He was
like
the most patriotic American ever.
yeah, if you want to put it that way.
I mean, no one gets as more patriotic as JBL. I
Yeah,
kid you not, the other day I was watching a TikTok. Um, it was when I forget when this was. This is like early to mid like 2000s. It was JBL at like it definitely wasn't like actually there, but it was quote unquote the the US Mexico border.
yeah. Oh yeah,
I can't believe like the amount of stuff that they got away with during like Vince,
yeah.
like during that time. Because if that happened now, there was WWE would have gotten
Yeah,
canceled.
it'd be done
Like,
for.
here's the thing though, people got mad about El Grande Americano being from the Gulf of America. They had not seen what they did years past, and I
Yeah,
think I brought this up in a previous episode where it was like Vince McMahon literally had a trio of historic Mexican wrestlers come out on tractors or like grass mowers or something,
yeah.
and literally called them Mexicools. Like you can't make that up
You
unless
can't
if you're
do.
Vince McMahon.
Like I feel like the people online that get upset about WWE today with I guess you could call them political issues, racial issues, whatever you want to call them. They're not even people who watch the show. Like they just
Nah.
see oh there's a culturally appropriated luchador. Uh, that's ridiculous. Get him off TV. Cancel WWE. Hang Triple H in front of the town square. Like they wouldn't have been able to handle it back in the
I was
day.
gonna, I'll say like back in the day, like the amount of like stuff that they pulled off with not fly. Like I kid you not. Let's see. If we look back in time, we've had like Triple H literally doing blackface with
Uh,
the Nation of
Vince
Domination.
McMahon. Vince McMahon saying the N word on national television.
That we had the Mexicools that I brought up. We had JBL trying to capture Mexicans.
The
We
Triple
had
H Triple H Booker T storyline.
we had Kung Fu Naki.
Yeah.
Like there was so much that happened during Vince that would have never flown today.
No, not at all. It's funny to look back at it and be like, wow, that was. It's not funny because racism's funny. It's funny because wow, that was on TV. You know.
But here's the thing, though. It wasn't like just racism either. We literally saw Edge and Lita have sex.
Yeah, like on like what who thought of that? Like did you ever hear the thing of the proposed storyline of Vince getting Stephanie McMahon pregnant?
Yes.
Like how what does this have to do with professional wrestling? You ever seen the South Park episode about wrestling?
Honestly, one of my like favorite
It's one of
episodes
my
ever.
favorite episodes ever. They're like in the ring. There's not even wrestling going on. They're just like telling some like storyline about like an abortion or something. Or something.
It ended up being like a soap opera, which ultimately that's what pro
That
wrestling is.
yeah. I always call it the redneck equivalent to musical theater.
Accurate.
Yeah. I'm no redneck, but I do like wrestling. And so do they.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, anything else we want to cover here today? I've got a shit ton of homework to do, and I didn't realize what time it was, but I do have to get to that, unfortunately. This was a good break in my day, though, because I've been uber stressed. I have let me see, I have a little sticky note here. I have two PowerPoints that I have to finish. One of them is tomorrow, one of them is Friday. I have two videos that I have to edit for a class, and then I have like four videos for my internship due. I hope my internship lady doesn't see this because she'll see that I am doing other things instead of the stuff that I'm already behind on. But this was a nice break in my day, thankfully, other than the nap I took while it was thunderstorming.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good to wrap up. There, honestly, it's after like all the big stuff with WrestleMania. It's a lot of these episodes will probably get shorter and shorter.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little slower for a little while. Actually, I don't know how short it's actually been. It's probably about an hour and a half. I don't know. I always check. I always say it's been like an hour, and then I look and it's like 2.5. I'm like, oh, okay. But
I mean, to be fair, last week's episode did actually end up being like an hour and a half. So.
yeah, it did. It did, thankfully. But yeah, Backlash obviously not as long as WrestleMania either. Like we don't have 14 predictions going on. The It's only 5 matches. 5 matches that are iffy at best. But
Yeah.
with that being said, thank you all for listening, watching, subscribing. I don't know, however else you are consuming this podcast. I'm Jake. That's Jet Li. Jet Li, plug your socials real quick.
Jetly_T on Instagram.
And you can find me at J_Yanoski2103 over on Instagram, or of course at Squash Match Wrestling. Be sure to follow us on X, the YouTube, Spotify, whatever else. All of the links are down in the graphic below. We will see you all next week for our Backlash review. So until then, we'll see you next
Looking
time.
forward to it.